We received a lot of very good questions this time around, so let's go ahead and get started. Our first question today is, what TVL goals do the SaucerSwap team have for 3, 6, 12, 24-month timelines? And what benchmarks or other metrics need to be met for this project to be self-sustaining?
Yeah, so I can take this one. We can't give specific TVL goals at this point in time, as there are many variables at play. We do, however, expect our DEX to substantially increase the Hedera network's TVL. And this growth will be largely driven by our platform serving as an onboarding ramp for HTS projects, and also an endpoint for bridge liquidity, so like cross-chain assets. I would point you to other first-mover DEXs if you wish to project SaucerSwap's TVL growth in the ensuing months following launch. And then in terms of the project being self-sustaining, our tokenomics ensure this. So one such example is the DAO treasury. Recall that both a portion of swap fees and emissions will go towards this treasury, which is important as it serves the purpose of funding community-voted features.
Great. Thanks so much, Joe. So our next question is, how difficult is it to add liquidity pools for HTS pairs like SAUS, SIKI, SAUS, Dove, USDC, etc.? Once code is developed, isn't this just a copy and paste?
Yeah, so creating liquidity pools will be very frictionless. If an HTS pair does not yet exist, a user will be prompted to create it. And in doing so, they would be setting the ratio of the HTS token reserves, and by extension, their prices within the pool. So once created, anyone can then provide liquidity to this newly created pool.
Great. So our third question is, will there be any vesting period for the early mouses and whales with NFTs? And can the airdrop and pre-sale guys make a huge sell-off at the start?
So there will be no vesting period for users, meaning they are free to do whatever they wish with their SAUS tokens. With that being said, the electromagnetic liquidity option, aka ELO, and IDO whitelist events will enable users to have early access to liquidity pools and yield farms. It follows that for the majority of NFT holders, actively participating on the platform may prove to be the wisest decision.
Great. So our next question is, how is the SaucerSwap team compensated with token release schedules, etc.?
Yeah, so the development team will receive 24% of the total supply of sauce. This is locked into vesting contracts, and it's distributed at the same pace as emissions, so over the course of 3 years. And additionally, the liquidity used to initialize the sauce HBAR and USDC HBAR pools will be time locked for 365 days, after which point ownership will be transferred to the team. By then, the pools in question will have expanded to such an extent such that the team's share of each pool will be significantly diluted. This is the same approach SpookySwap took, just to name one example.
Great. Thanks. The next question is, for the initial sauce HBAR pool, how would the ratio be set, as there would be no market yet to value sauce to HBAR? And are early liquidity risking extreme and permanent loss?
Okay, so to address the first part of this question, 50% of the after-tax NFT sale revenue will go towards liquidity for both the sauce HBAR and USDC HBAR pools, 2/3 and 1/3 respectively, although this may be subject to minor change. The exact amount of HBAR is, of course, contingent on the outcome of the NFT sale, while 20 million sauce will be added. And note that we had originally planned to allocate 30 million sauce to the pool. However, we have adjusted this based on sale projections. So the 10 million HBAR unaccounted for will be reallocated to airdrops, meaning the initial supply of sauce remains unchanged at 20%. So in terms of impermanent loss, it is an inherent risk to AMM protocols. However, sauce will have only one market when we launch, just the sauce HBAR pool. And that will be the case until it's listed on exchanges. So we aim to greatly reduce the risk of impermanent loss in our initial pools by assigning large weights of emissions, the associated farm contracts. And yeah, recall that staking LP tokens in farms helps to offset impermanent loss.
So we have less of questions and more of requests, and we'll read them out and provide our responses. So A is, could you please upload a summary of the AMA in Korean so that Korean users can also be looped in as well?
Yeah, sure, certainly. Our social managers will translate the AMA into Korean.
Great. And the other request is, can you add subtitles to the AMA videos on YouTube when they're uploaded?
Absolutely. We'll provide those subtitles as well.
Great. Thanks so much. Oh, this is a fun one. The next question is, what is each team's member's favorite sauce? And if it's a homemade sauce, care to share the secret recipe?
This is a question I'm going to enjoy. Alrighty, so Peter couldn't be here today, but left us a very interesting recipe. So you get some Japanese mayo, tangier and sweeter than the usual kind, ketchup, mustard, pickle juice, Worcestershire sauce, and chili powder, smoked paprika, a bit of chopped garlic, and a squidge of lemon juice. Whisk it all up with some salt and pepper to taste, and I think you get a very luscious sauce to serve with fries, burgers, and fish tacos. Interesting recipe, but as for myself, I like to keep things simple. And this is going to be an odd one because I like to mix peanut butter and soy sauce till it's emulsified and serve with noodles, then top with some minced garlic and scallions for Fujian-style sesame noodles. Now, you replace the peanut butter with, you replace the sesame paste with peanut butter, of course. And I think it works even better because the peanut butter is sweet and more readily available. Now, I hear that Vect enjoys barbecue sauces of most kind, but it's the Jamaican jerk BBQ that really struck a chord with him. And there's like something earthy and sweet and spicy about all those flavors that really appealed. I got to give it a try when I can. But Joe, what's your favorite?
Yeah, so I'm stuck between the double X hot peri peri sauce or this samyang baldak chicken sauce. So both of which are pretty hot. So I guess you could consider me a masochist in that regard.
I can go next. Javier here. I like honey mustard. Pretty much any kind, sweet or spicy or whatever. It's almost impossible to mess up honey mustard. It's delicious.
Great, thanks. As for myself, pineapple. Contrary to my username, I don't like pineapple sauce, but I do like to eat pineapple with tahini. It's really delicious. But my favorite sauce I like to make is mixing honey mustard with sriracha, and I like to coat super crispy fried chicken wings on it. So it's pretty delicious.
That sounds really good. I like
Yeah,
fried
I'm kind
chicken.
of hungry. Okay.
Oh, me too.
So moving on to the next question. If the NFTs were gifted to another party before the airdrop, can the faucet leaks and airdrops be registered to the recipient of the NFTs?
Yeah, I guess I could go into more details about this one. For whatever account that redeems the NFTs, they will receive the airdrops. Afterwards, you can transfer it to another account and attempt to redeem, but, our backend will recognize which serial numbers have been used, and they won't be eligible if they've already been used for a different account. So please bear that in mind. It's not to say that the NFTs can't be transferred, but you should really hold it on for maximum benefits. Now, I'm not sure about the whole faucet leak part of the question, but our faucet works on a similar logic. It recognizes which serials has been used to pull from the faucet during each window, and you can transfer the NFTs to a different account, but we can't really use this as an exploit to gain additional sauce. I'm sorry about that, but we gotta keep things fair.
Okay, thanks so much for the explanation. So the next question is, if you stake on Stater and then get H bar X back, then stake H bar X on SaucerSwap, will we get double rewards from both Stater and SaucerSwap?
Yeah, so the answer to that question is yes. You could stake H bar for H bar X on Stater, then bring this H bar X to our DEX, such that you would earn a sum of the income streams. So we do anticipate having H bar X HTS token pairs on our platform, which we're very excited about. And for what it's worth, that the relationship between liquid staking protocols and DEXs is well established on other networks.
Okay, so the next question is, how will the airdrop work? Is it a snapshot, or how can you guarantee that everyone will get their sauce?
I can take this one. So many of you have purchased the NFT sets, and through that process have also likely redeemed their Electromag NFTs. And we're going to plan on doing the airdrops the same way. You'll go to your account on the website in your profile, and there will be a way to redeem the airdrops that way. And that just makes it so it's easy for us to make sure that everybody gets their stuff. And just lets people pull at their leisure, and there's no confusion about associating tokens and that sort of thing. So that's the plan.
Great. Thanks, Aviator. So the next question we have from the community is, are there any updates or news you can share regarding grants from the HBAR Foundation or DeFi ecosystem development?
Yeah, so well, we can't say anything definitive. We can say that we have been in conversations with grant foundations and are very excited specifically by the initiatives the HBAR Foundation is taking, such as the Crypto Economy Fund. So our goal is to make SaucerSwap reliable, secure, and successful, and grants are a very helpful step in achieving this. So we will be able to share more concrete updates in due time.
Nice. All right, so our next question is, have you guys given any thought about moving from an automated maker model or AMA to a hybrid DEX in the longer term?
Yeah, so we currently don't have any plans to change our underlying protocol. However, this decision will ultimately be left up to the DAO further down the road. Personally, I have been quite interested in proactive market maker protocols. So I do encourage you to check them out. The math behind them is very interesting.
Great. Thank you so much. So one of the questions that everyone's always kind of been wondering is, could you give us an update about an approximate launch date?
Yeah, about that. We've kind of addressed it in our previous AMA, but the launch date is dependent upon a couple things. Those were HIP 218, which is now on testnet, the Create 2 opcode, which is currently supported, and the token create transaction in Hedera Smart Contract Service, which came to PreviewNet a couple days ago. That being said, there's a lot of things that are happening, faster than we've ever anticipated. And the best case scenario is that we can get this all in 3 months. But we still need to get through our smart contract audits, and we've so far identified 2 firms that could perform it, and those are Halborn and QuantStamp.
Nice. Those are 2 very reputable firms. So next question is, why do you need to create transaction in smart contracts?
So we need the token create transaction to mint and burn LP tokens. So as users deposit and withdraw their token pairs, their minted LP tokens as a certificate that they're entitled to get those token pairs back. So an update from that is that token create transaction hit PreviewNet a couple days ago. So I've been messing with that lately, and everything's looking okay on that, but still need a bit more time to integrate that into SaucerSwap.
Great. Thank you so much, Tarzan. All right, so that's basically all of the questions for this AMA. If you guys have any questions that we did not address or answer this time around, just feel free to post them on our Discord and we'll answer them. And so to end this AMA, like we always kind of do, we really appreciate and love all of your support and enthusiasm that every single one of you have shown, especially on Discord and on Twitter. So today we are going to give out 1 dog star, and it will be given to Hedera Hero. Thanks, man, for tweeting for the past 27 days about SaucerSwap. That's really consistent. Feel free to DM me, Pineapple, with your wallet address so that we can send you your tokens. And that's about it today, guys. That's it for this AMA, and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.